So the Jets at 2 in your mock, you have Arvell Reese. Why do you have him there? There's some others that I've seen with Bailey in that mix. Mel Kiper, our colleague, threw Caleb Downs
the
in
Godfather,
that spot
going with the safety at number 2 overall.
How about that? So what do you walk me through the Jets' choices here and why you land with Reese?
Yeah, so this is how good I am at my job. I did this before the Jermaine Johnson trade was announced today, because that mock was February 2nd, which that's sarcasm. I'm not that good at my job. But Jermaine Johnson now gone, and I think when you add T'Vondre Sweat, they're signaling they're moving to a 3-4 defense. They need speed on the edge. Will McDonald is a solid player, not a great player. He's around 250 pounds. They're going to stand these guys up. Arvell Reese, coming out of Ohio State, he came in today around 243 pounds. He's fast off the edge, and he's still getting better. He had 97 pass rush reps last year, produced 6.5 sacks. He can play like Micah Parsons and Abdul Carter have done. He can play as an off-ball linebacker, but his future is rushing the quarterback, and he said that here. He sees himself as an outside linebacker, as an edge rusher, and for the Jets, that's exactly what he could be, standing up off the edge, going and getting after the quarterback.
And then moving down your list here, if you pop it back up one more time, please. On the 3rd overall selection, you wind up with Mauigoa going from the left side of the Miami offensive line going to Arizona. Why do you see Mike LaFleur's first pick being that guy?
And I think this is where the draft truly starts, because the Cardinals are a bad team that could go a lot of different directions. They have a question mark at quarterback. They have a question mark at running back. They have question marks all over the defense. The idea here would be to build an infrastructure for 2027 when you have an opportunity to draft a quarterback of the future. You can roll with Jacoby Brissett for another year. He played well enough down the stretch, but Mauigoa could be that right tackle opposite Paris Johnson, who's been a solid left tackle. And your hope is that you are then building that foundation so that when you have the opportunity to get a quarterback, the table's kind of set for that quarterback instead of reaching for a quarterback at 3. There's not one this year that I would advocate for drafting after Mendoza in the top 15 or top 20 picks. So looking at positional value and how to just build a team when you've been not very good, I think addressing the offensive line first is pretty smart.
And now you had Bain 4th to the Titans. The choice of making this trade today, do you think this affects the pick, or you just say Bain is so damn talented and there's no chance Saleh passes?
I think the trade does affect that. And I think with Robert Saleh coming in, so what type of edge rusher is he going to want? Adding Jermaine Johnson, who he had with the Jets, tells me that they want at least one person who has that speed coming off the edge. Bain is not that player. He's a power player. And, right before you and I sat down today, his measurables came in. He came in at under 6'3", 264 pounds, which is lighter than he was listed at Miami. And he came in with sub 31-inch arm length. To some people, they say, why does it matter? Turn on the tape, watch him play, especially in the college football playoff. But that would be the only player since 1999 drafted in the first round with sub 31-inch arm length. And so as a general manager, you're saying, am I smarter than the numbers? Is this player going to be the outlier? A player's never had double-digit sacks with under 31-inch arms, at least going back to 1999 when we have firm combine data since then. So Bain at 4, the tape says, he's pretty good. He's probably worth number 4. But now the numbers are where you start to have those conversations as a scouting department and say, do we believe this guy's different than every other player drafted since 1999?
Is this the Will Campbell defensive conversation?
It is. It honestly is. And Will got hurt this year and then unfortunately had a pretty rough stretch in the playoffs. And now arm length is a pretty big topic of conversation because of that.
All right. So now the Giants have a choice between Ohio State players.
Yeah.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of Ohio State. I know you hate hearing that,
but
there's going to be a lot of Ohio State guys.
I'm used to it, and for good reason. They're phenomenal. Just sometimes they should do better than it. Carnell Tate, you have them going receiver rather than Caleb Downs, who might be a perfect fit for that defense on the back end, too.
Yeah, he might be. And I think with John Harbaugh, we could even see them go Sonny Styles, the middle linebacker from Ohio State. So there's a couple of Buckeyes that they could choose from there.
Right.
I look at Carnell Tate as a 6'3", 200-pound, excellent route runner, opposite the speed of Malik Neighbors, to give Jackson Dart those weapons, to give him all the answers to the question. I think that's how you, number one, evaluate a young quarterback,
right,
and then number two, develop them. Dart had some great moments this year. He also had some rough stretches. So for them to find out, is he the guy, is he the quarterback we can build around, You want to give him as many answers to the test as possible and see how he handles that.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.